having a hard time changing my name.
Yes, my three favorite gentlemen are here with me. Yay! I am so excited. And tell me, this new episode of Joyland was a joy to watch. Bum bum.
Thank you. Thank
you. I'll be here all week. But tell me a little bit about what went into this episode.
Well, I think I'd love Damone to talk about this because, as you see, the production values are a lot different. That episode one, we did stage directions because we wanted to make sure that our audience would be able to follow the story, because this is a whole brave new world. As I said, this is Kobayashi Maru. We're trying to reinvent the way television is developed, and it was Damone who said, "No, we're getting rid of the stage directions," and Russell and I said, "No, but we have to have some." No, none. I said, "But nope, that's it." He was ruthless. So, and you know what? Honestly, I thought he's a little Meshuggah. He's a little Meshuggah, and this is not going to work. But God bless him, he was right. So now I'm going to let Damone take over for this brilliant, mad vision of his.
These are the things you learn after. They don't tell you, "Fool, you sound crazy. We're going to put back." The moment you get off the editing line, we're putting everything back in. No, listen, I cannot take credit for that. Here's the thing that we learned in episode 101, that the writing and the story are strong, and that we have to trust the audience to participate in a way that will fill in the blanks that we can't necessarily fill in this medium. It's the thing that I keep repeating, and I have to repeat it for myself. This is not TV. This is not the theater. It's its own hybrid medium, and we have to treat it and respect it and engage it as such. The moment we try to act like we're on a film set or a TV set, we will get frustrated because we just can't. There's things that we can do on the TV film set, but then two, I think we also limit ourselves. And so I think in episode 102, you might see that we are a lot more liberated, in that we really engage the audience to say, "Hey, take the ride, and we're going to trust that you'll fill in the blanks where this medium doesn't allow us to do it." And we can only do that because, again, the text and the story, it's so strong. So again, that's a testament to Gary and Russell. And so if I've done anything, I think I imposed on us to trust what I was like, "You wrote it, is good. Trust it," you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying there are things, of course, in this episode that we want to change. I have a slew of notes. I go, great. So we don't need any of those stage directions. But now I really want to get even more specific with the backgrounds. I really want to make it feel like if I'm in a room, that I get to see every angle of that room and not just everyone in that same particular shot. But like, if, for instance, if I'm in Mr. Wilk's strip club, there could be a girl on my right, and there could be a whole other thing happening on the left side, but it still says we're in that environment, right? So we can get even more specific in terms of the background, but it starts with the story. It starts with the story and the writing. And I take my cue from that. I'm going to shut up now.
I would chime in too that, the Gary's dialogue, his wordplay is so strong and so much fun, and Damone's vision. But television is a collaborative medium, and it's not just one person driving it. And it's also, we want to be the kind of team that we want to be responsive to our audience, and we listened and we heard, and we kind of know what people like, what worked for them, and what wasn't working, and we went quickly to try to fix it. We tried to improve the flow of the episode, the pace of the episode. We tried to make it more visually interesting and immersive by utilizing, for the first time, some moving images. to transition and to show off Brooklyn and the change in time and place. And that we felt was very effective. We all, in my mind, I'm starting to think, as Damone is, how could we possibly utilize moving images as our virtual backgrounds behind our cast, which we, talking to one of our great technical producer, Paul Litwack, he has an idea, and it takes time and work, but for the efficacy of a better show, everybody is willing to pitch in and do what we can. So yeah, we learned a lot. And as Ramon said, we're going to learn more now and hopefully even do a better third episode.
Yeah, and I think, I don't want people who, for those who are trying to automate the medium, it's tedious. It's a tedious process, we all get attached to the thing that we bring to the table, right? We all of us have to learn. I might have loved it, but it may not work. Or, it was a great idea on paper, but I don't know how to, or for me to go, yeah, I really don't know how to make that thing live. So we got to find a way. We really have to service the play or the script, the story that Gary and Russell wrote. They say in the theater, the play's the thing. And it's the same. It's the same in this. The script, the story is the leading factor for us. And we learned so much from episode 101. And we really jumped in wholeheartedly for episode 102.
And we were able to get the story, which at its heart is about, it's dealing with prejudice. It's also dealing with people fighting the man, the system, on different levels. There's all kinds of social justice, and we also lean into the class warfare, the subtle sort of class warfare. Because, we're as Americans, we like to say, oh, no, America is a class society. That's a lot of bull. I grew up in a working class family. Trust me. I know what it's like to people to look down on me from where I came from. And that existed, and it was even more pronounced in the 1960s. So everyone's trying to rise above themselves, because this is America in 1964. We are a can-do nation. We are the greatest power on earth. There's nothing we can't achieve. So there is all that people, it's almost like everyone has someone at each elbow crowding them. Reverend Julian Bass, and by the way, before I get any further, the cast is brilliant.
Oh,
right. I mean, no matter what we did, these folks have chemistry. They're in Zoom boxes. Hello, we have an actress, Michelle Fahrenheim, in London. We have two actresses, Elby Zimmerman and Maury Shore, in Los Angeles. We have Tony in Florida, Darren in Florida, Chicago. I mean, all over the world, and they manage to have a chemistry, right? It's fascinating, Damone.
Lean into what Gary is saying. About 85% of our cast don't know each other.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever laid eyes on each other outside of the square? And the work, the commitment to the work, and to connecting to the text and connecting to each other that they have made, you would never in a million years believe, one, that we didn't rehearse this together at a table, or that these people hadn't had some kind of relationship. About 85% of our cast know each other.
Yeah,
easy. That's incredible. Yeah, I never would have guessed. I thought y'all were friends and just lived in different places.
No, I don't
never
know.
would have guessed.
No, I mean, there's a few people, maybe like a handful of people I've actually worked with. And Damone has worked the same with Damone, but that doesn't mean they know other people. And Damone, both of us from theater, Damone, you know what it's like on stage when you've been rehearsing for months and months. People don't have chemistry a lot of times, right? It's like, what are you doing, right?
I think it comes from, and I'm finding a new way to say these things, because talking about classism and hierarchy, but for lack of a better phraseology, pardon me for this thought, from the top down, because Russell and Gary knew each other. We didn't know each other. In fact, when I came into the project, I was coming in as a potential actor.
Yes, that's
to
right.
play the thing. And I asked the question, who's directing it?
And I
they,
said, I don't know. Do you want to?
well, like, let me read the script. And I think I came back and I was like, I'm your director.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's how funny, you know, it's just wonderful. Well, that's also the process has been, because of the pandemic and Zoom, it's let people accept things they never would have. You know, you take more chances on someone. I mean, Damone and I had not even Zoom. I didn't even know, we didn't even know what each other looked like. It was just a voice, and he was a reference for Bernard Dotson, who plays Minister Elijah X, and Bernard was recommended by Eric Rausch, who plays John Kelly, because they'd worked together. And so, you know, but that's where it is. You just, okay, you know this person, you can, and you just say, okay, we're in a pandemic. You just, you gotta, you know, the rules are kind of a little, you know, blown to bits. And so that's it's kind of fascinating. It really is. I mean, Sandra Bargeman and Robert McKay, who play Edna and Red, their chemistry is remarkable.
Incredible.
Would you ever think that they have not been a couple? The looks and everything.
Everything is so amazing with those two. I never would have guessed. Never, ever in a million years would have guessed.
Yes.
And I think Gary alluded to, I think it was Gary or Russell, I think we've all been talking about this too, is that this really opens up the possibility beyond this pandemic. I was talking to a friend of mine about developing new shows. They spend millions of dollars on bringing a show to Broadway. They spend millions of dollars on developing new sitcoms and new movies. And this
Nope.
the Zoom account is like 30 a month.
Yeah. It's pretty meager. It is meager. It is meager.
Pilot season will never be the same again.
That's true. That's true. I believe that.
Yeah, because this is the way we can engage the work in the world now. You know, we don't have to be on the same set. Not for the pilot.
No.
We can develop this thing over Zoom and keep millions of dollars to put towards in the direction of other things. You know, so we're breaking ground in this medium. I don't know a lot of other TV shows or scripted series that are kicking off like this. I don't know of a lot of them.
Well, no, excuse me, Sammy. Sammy's the empress of television journalism here. So, I mean, if anyone's going to know, Sammy's going to know. So, Sammy, our question is for you. Are other people doing this?
Not really. I haven't seen very many. I think you're one of the very few, if not the only ones I know that are doing it this way. But I think this is the way of the future.
Yes.
It's definitely the way of the future. And you know what? I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just wait till episode 103.
Oh my gosh. So one thing I want to know about you guys is, what was your favorite part about filming episode 2?
Who's answering?
All of you.
Am I answering?
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first and I'll be succinct and quick. There's a part, I'm hoping that everyone has, I mean, I'm trying not to do like, spoiler alert, she dies, whatever. There's a part where one of our actors, I told them, you know, they're gonna raise money for this black guy who was attacked, right? And these Jews, they want to do X, Y, and Z, and then the blacks and Jews together, and you know, the races come together. And I said, this thing literally makes your mind explode. Like you lose your mind at the thought or hearing that this thing is gonna happen. Go, show me what that is. This man starts to freak out, taking off his shirt and grunting. I could have never in a million years choreographed that thing the way he did it. And we just let it roll. And I was like, oh my God, this is genius. He looks strange as hell, you know? He's that kind of actor that's kind of like scary and strange, you know? Amazing human being, but I think that's his gift as a
Yeah.
But we just literally said, This is what happens to him at the thought of black and white people and Jews and people coming together harmoniously. It throws him into a rage. You got. And we literally I had no input on what he did. It was amazing. That was my favorite part.
Russell, go.
Sure. You know, I don't know that we'll do this every episode going forward, but it is a part that really I do enjoy, and it's something that, you know, when Gary and I started talking about it, to bring these iconic entertainment figures and see them in their nascent days when they were entertainers of the Borscht Belt and the Catskills. And we have a cameo at the end. Sammy, you saw it, and it was a person that really is not an actor. It's someone that I met at a wedding, and I just remembered their look, if you will, their look. And I reached out to my ex-boss. Hey, can you get in touch with Rory Alcantar is the gentleman's name. I said, I think he could play a part in our new show. Damone bemoans it because I think he couldn't stop singing the song for about a week and a half, much to the
I'm still
family. So, and the funny part was when, you know, we asked him for a tape we wanted to see. I knew he could play guitar. I wasn't sure of his vocal abilities. And to be quite honest, when we got the first tape, we were, you know, there was some concern about whether he could embody that entertainer. And I talked to him, and he assured me that he was going to rehearse and practice and get a different instrument to play. And when he came and delivered, it was great. It was hysterical. It was funny. He looked it. It sounded. So that was a fun part for me personally.
Stop laughing, Russell. The moment he started, I like, we can't do spoilers. I won't do it. But
I tried not to.
I kept singing. I kept singing. I kept singing the song because it's so funny, and he was so good. He was so good. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give just a little bit of a spoiler because I still, you know, I'm still, as a writer, I'm still trying to shed the notion of writing scenes where people can't touch. It's like, okay, well, that's a little, talk about a challenge. So there's one scene I said it's really important. I'm sorry. This is going to just one scene, and Russell and Damone could yell at me afterwards. Okay, so Cassie Saunders, who plays Laurie, the little crazy teenager, it's her in the alley making out when she's supposed to be on stage singing. And the problem is, you know, it's Zoom.
Yeah.
So Damone said, well, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, could you fake it? She said, no, my boyfriend's in the house. And Damone says, will your boyfriend be in? She said, we'd love to. Yeah, duh. I mean, really? He would have to twist his arm to make out with Cassie on screen. And it worked perfectly. Perfectly.
Beautifully.
Yes.
The girl's lips were red.
Take 28. Oh, well, fun. Here we go.
Guys, I think we needed about 5 more takes. Let's more takes.
That's so funny.
Sammi, it forces us to that point of creativity. And I think that's exciting. Where there is a no, we have to figure out another way. How do we show the love between Edna and Red? And let me tell you what that rehearsal moment, 40 minutes of going, well, maybe if you look like this, and if you came in like this, or can you do that? Does that look like they're kissing? Maybe. And then we go, no. And he leans in with a gleam in his eye. And all of the love that this black man holds for that white woman comes flooding through the screen. So what's the truth that we learned? That little camera straight ahead has as much power as that camera that we're used to working with. So we don't necessarily have to turn and look at each other. That if we just engage that camera like this, then the audience does the work. They see the relationship. They see it. If we just honestly engage that little dot right there, if we just lean in.
Nice. I love it. I love it. This has been a great episode. I can't wait to see what is in episode 3. Without giving too much away, what can we expect to see?
Well, again, they're going to yell at me, but we've kind of set it up in episode 2. The Flashpoint is going to be school busing for the purpose of achieving racial integration, and we picked New York City, and we picked the North. And I've said this before because the North gets a pass when you're talking about the civil rights struggle. The South was a nightmare. It was, if it wasn't a fascist state, then I don't know what is in America at that time. But the North was segregated, and so we wanted to talk to the North, view the North school busing in New York City, and 2 of our main characters played brilliantly by Rosalind Seal, and Deb Dent played brilliantly by Michelle Fahrenheim, and who has no British accent, remarkably. I don't know how they do that. They're going to be coming from different aspects, loggerheads on school busing, and it's going to tear the city apart, as it tore most cities apart in that time. So we're going to see what was behind it, what happens, the divisiveness, the loyalties, the shifting perspectives of what it does ultimately on the children. Because Tyra has a daughter who's 12 years old, Letitia Bass. She's going to get caught up in it too. And Aaron Dent, Deb's teenage son, gets caught up in it. So everyone, all the children are going to get caught. And Lori Lapidus, who should be in private school but doesn't want to, everyone's going to get. So you're going to see the children as well and what the impact is. So I think it's going to be pretty darn powerful. And yes, we're going to have an entertainer. I don't know who it is yet.
Exciting. Russell, Damone, anything you want to add?
Well,
Russell?
I've just personally been encouraged by how people are just liking it. How much people are enjoying it, and from all different parts of my life, and some people on the professional side and personal side. I mean, if I could share one comment that was left on our YouTube page, it really blew us away, because we had reached out to this gentleman to be on a panel next week, and and I sent him the episode, and sometimes you don't know, are they going to watch it? Are they not? Are they going to be honest? And so I guess he was so taken by it. The gentleman's name is Len Elmore, and he's someone in my life that I look up to, because he was an All-American at University of Maryland when I attended Maryland in the early 70s. He played pro basketball for 10 years, including 2 in the American Basketball Association, which we have a very strong hook in our storyline. And he wrote, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. I'm hooked. A unique storytelling medium, succinct but comprehensive in relating the times and tales of everyone's struggle in 1964. Funny too. Pick it up and you'll find it hard to put down. Pass it on. I mean, so that, it warmed my heart. We'll leave it at that.
Nice. Timon, anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, here comes a spoiler alert, I guess, because
All right.
Russell he pushed me to it, so because it's in my brain right now. Listen, I'm just excited. Can I share a little, Gary? Can I share a little back?
Sure. Oh, do whatever you like.
Sammy, I'm a collaborator to my heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've not laid hands on Russell yet. We've not seen each other in the flesh. Gary and I had lunches together, and we've planning together. Our editing producer, Paul Litwack, I've never seen him in the flesh. Collaboration is deeply personal. It's intense. It's emotional. And we've experienced all of that in this episode, right? Putting this episode together. And so here's what I love, and I'm trying not to get emotional, because this is the part of the thing that I crave. Episode 101 was its thing, right? And we made a big shift, a big bold shift with episode 102, and it required a lot of sensitive moves, right? And it was difficult for us. There was a tense moment. And here's what I love about this whole process. We've not laid eyes on each other like physically, but even the moment of tension, we're able to address, speak, virtually hug it out, and keep the creative process going forward. So those things, like, it's a beautiful gift, right? All of the tensions and the things that we would experience if we were live and in place, like we experience them here, and it's the same kind of, the play's the thing, and we honor each other, and fortunately, and this is true, it's not true on a lot of sets that people genuinely like each other or get along. People can hate each other and get together and like, but this is the gig, so we got to do it. We generally like and respect each other. So those moments of tension, this is the part that's most exciting to me beyond what you have watched, is that we can put this together in a way and go through that, get to the other side of it, blow each other a kiss, talk it out, and say, all right, let's get ready for episode 3. That is the thing that I'm most grateful for. That when I post that my collaborators, that it's a true collaboration, and that we honor each other and we try to keep each other at the front. And I can mean that. The rest of the stuff is like, it's extra. So that's Sammy. This group, Gary, Russell, Paul Litwack, our cast, grade A. So even if I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it, you can edit it out. See, because you can edit Zoom. Even if it were a piece of shit, the process of putting it together and working together and collaborating, great. But it's not a piece of shit. It's good. So everybody should watch it.
Very nice. I think that's the perfect way to end this episode. I can't wait to see you guys next month when we film the next one. Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate all 3 of you as always.
Thank you, Sam. You take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
So much.